favorite man, Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with obsidian and Flint. He's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients to thrive back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone cutting dreams, never looking back. Takes us to the moon, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Building the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, find some magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground, each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, sparks start to fly as the orb awakens. We question why, it's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. Takes us to our moms, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Building the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. In this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world. Where to keep working, with the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. Every gray morning makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Happy rock eyes, through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. Shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Building the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the morning, the coffee in hand, and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. It's that time again. It's Natural Tool Friday. This is a 2-hour live stream, and I do interact with the audience from time to time. I don't consistently watch the chat, and I don't consistently nap. I'll be doing some flint napping. I don't do either one consistently or either one very well during the live stream. I have other videos that have nothing but the process, so you can look those up. I try to have fun on Friday nights, but I kind of mess that up a little bit because natural tools are not that fun. They're more challenging, and they also are, how should I put this? They're also, I don't know, temperamental. They're not well behaved. Let's put it that way. That's a good way to say it. The natural tools are not well behaved. No matter what anyone tells you, nope. You're gonna hear it like it is on this channel. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna find myself on YouTube so I can look at the chat. All right, you'll have to stick around if you want to see flint napping. Just stick around a little while. You know, I will eventually start flint napping. I already showed you the stuff I'm going to try out tonight. Okay, so you know you can go do something else while you're waiting for me to start flint napping. I got to see if I'm doing well on my live stream. So far, so good. I always try to make do with what I got, and I don't have excellent, expensive stuff. I don't have excellent, expensive stuff. And I never can seem to find the right video to click so I can access the chat properly. Okay, hold on a second. There's two ways to access the chat. From this screen, which doesn't work well because, watch, it gives me a split screen. I don't like it when it does this, where it splits it between the chat and the screen. I like the chat on the screen so I can actually maneuver well, okay, in the chat. This is crappy, all right? So I got to get to the other view, which means I got to get to my channel in some other way. Hold on a second. I don't get notified of my live streams. So I can't click on that. Hold on. I'll figure this out. Yeah, okay, I got to do my clicking from my history. That's how I can get to this screen. All right, so if I click on my live stream from my history, it gets me to this one, this screen, which I like. Okay, who do we got? Jim Main, Marty, Keith, Mr. Jim, Dockenstein, Tommy Taylor, Flakescard, Mike Mason, Styley Designs, Dockenstein, DJ Hodges, nice looking rock, the first one. You mean the mahogany obsidian? Yeah, Jim Main is here, Graylin. Let's see, if I skip, I apologize. Mike Mason. Let's see here. What are you guys commenting so far? Just hello, hello? Okay. Hello, hello. Alan is here. T. Larson. If you're new, just have some patience. I will get back to the snapping stuff in a minute. Charles Rooker's here. Bren is here, I think. Did I see you already? I don't know. Wilderness Quest Outdoors. Jay just gave me $1.99 as a super chat. Thank you, thank you. Natural Tool Paint Patch Fund. I wish there was a Natural Tool Paint Patch. That would be awesome. Excellent. Fantastic. Let's turn off the heater for now because, believe it or not, I get used to the cold weather, and if it gets above 40, I feel too hot in here. Yeah, it's like 47 degrees, and I'm starting to sweat. All right, let's see. Audio sounds like you're kind of in a tunnel. Yeah, I noticed that when I listen to myself. I'm gonna have to spend like $600 on a microphone, and I don't want to. Let's see here. And it's not only the microphone, but it's I gotta get some software that I can use so that I can actually play music in the, or add music to the beginning or ending of the video. That kind of thing. Integrate other sounds into the video at the same time it's recording live. It sounded more clear in the last feed, yeah, but I'm using the exact same setup on this feed. It's exact same. I've used the exact same setup for 3 feeds in a row. Exactly the same. See how variable it is? It's like natural stone. My equipment is variable. I don't know if it's a curse or what. Let's see. Keith says, Patrick, do your neighbors ever wonder who you're talking to when you're in your nap shack? Yeah, they did in the beginning. They did in the beginning, a little bit. But now they know. Yeah. They know very well now. But I'm not doing this at all hours of the night, so they haven't said anything. Now, if I light a fire, yeah, I can see them peeking out their windows and they'll come around and ask me how I'm doing. Well, how's it going? It's going pretty good. It's the only thing different is I got a fire. Yeah, we noticed. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to start chipping. Okay, so this is mahogany obsidian. This is the type that gives everyone miseries and nightmares. Right? Right. That's why I'm going to nap it. I'm going to show you exactly how not to break it. Okay? Really? No. I'm going to show you how I do it. And chances are, if you try to do it like I do it, you're going to end up breaking it. Because everybody's different. You have to do it so that you don't break it with your style. And if you don't like your style, then yeah, you can try copying somebody else's style. But you're still going to break some. You got to find that sweet spot where you're not breaking it. And how do you approach it? What's the baseline? People want to know what the baseline is for everything. Where do I start? Dude, bruh, where do I start with the not breaking it mindset? I mean, I got to start somewheres. All right. Start with bottle bottom glass. And then do 10 bottle bottoms. Okay? Do 10 bottle bottoms into nice bifaces. If you still can't do a nice biface, if you still cannot do 10, okay, let me start over. My mind races ahead of me. If you cannot do 10 bottle bottoms and then end up with a nice biface thin without breaking it, you have to do 10 more. Okay? It's a matter of practice. You don't want to hear it, but to not break something, it's a matter of practice. Okay? Why bottle bottoms? Because if you break it, it's you. It's not the material. It's not your tools. It is you, because you're probably going to use some copper, even if you use natural tools on bottle bottoms. The bottle bottom glass is the best stuff you could possibly nap for free. Now, you can get more expensive stuff that will be easy on beginners, but you're going to have to nap bottle bottom glass until you get sick of it. Once you get sick of it, some people get sick after 2 pounds. Some people don't get sick of it until after 200 pounds. And when you get sick of it, you can switch. You have to practice to not break it. So I'm going to use that answer as a standard answer from now on, if I can remember. I've tried to figure out what is the baseline. The baseline is practice. You've got to do a lot of this to know what will break it, so you don't do what breaks it. If you cannot figure it out, you're going to need some one-on-one tutoring. If you can't get any one-on-one tutoring, choose a different hobby. Yeah, I mean, I got to be real with you. I got to be honest. If you cannot get it, if you're just breaking it, and you can't get it thin and blah, 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 you need to choose a different hobby. Yeah. It's not that hard. If it is, it means you can't do it. Physically, you're just not able to do it. Something's up. You got to change yourself, some physical thing about yourself. Yeah. Get a better set of eyeglasses. Start doing some workouts or whatever. Improve your hand-eye coordination by doing some other type of activities that will help you develop that, I guess. Something's got to change physically. People break this mahogany obsidian in half all the time. That's the biggest complaint that I have, that I've heard from guys. So that's why I'm getting into this not breaking it, don't break it stuff. And how do you not break it? And what's the baseline for not breaking it? You're going to have to get yourself a lot of obsidian and glass and practice with it. That's it. You can watch me doing this all day and you're not going to pick up how not to break it, because I push the limits on this. So if you do it like I do it, you're going to break it, unless you know the limits. And if you're new, you're not going to know the limits. All right? Yes? No? What am I using for hammerstones? Whatever works. And sometimes I don't use the right one. So whatever works okay is good enough for me sometimes. Don't use what I use. You have to figure out what works for you. If you want to know what this is a sandstone that crumbles easily, but it's kind of a mid-range sandstone. I've used many, many different kinds of sandstone. Some of it crumbles almost like chalk. Some of it is very tough. This is a mid-range sandstone where it's not really tough, but it doesn't crumble like chalk. Hey, somebody else gave me a super chat from Italy. I see some euro. I see euro. Yes. Okay, so Tyson, thank you. $2 euro. I mean, €2, not $2 euro. Hello, Jack. I love your videos. Hello from Italy. Yeah. Hello. It's late for you. How are you doing up so late? Let's see. Alan says, did you snag that piece of obsidian from Sal? No, I got this from hold on a second. I don't want to get the name wrong. Bill Taylor. I got this from Bill Taylor. Yep. Yes. So this is the type of mahogany obsidian that breaks in half and breaks everybody's heart. Yes. Okay, where am I on the chat? I just ranted for a bit and I saw a lot of chat go by. Let's see. Brandon says we got in the 30s today. Any day in the 30s we're up is good. Yeah. It's a sauna compared to what you've had before. Yes, I understand. Let's see. David Rushing, have you learned any new techniques like to hear them? What does that mean? To heat, maybe heat? Any new techniques like to heat them? Maybe that's what you meant. I don't know. No, I have not learned any new heat treating techniques. Brent says, it's a cliff jump thing. Learning to lean into it enough to break some stuff so you can learn not to break. Yeah. You have to know the limits of the material. Let's see. Tyson says, hello, Jack. I've seen your videos a lot of years ago and still looking at them, and you are the greatest. Well, thank you. You're going to make me develop a huge ego. Don't be doing it. Much love from Italy. Keep napping, brother. You're a gem. Thank you. Yep, Italian napping fans. We have internationals in the house on every live stream. Let's see here. I started because of Jack. I see. David says at the glass plant they have big balls of glass. Are they any good? Not usually, no. Bottle bottom glass is the best. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm just going to be honest with you. Every other glass is terrible by comparison. It's that good. It doesn't look that good because it's usually curved. But you can put those curved bottle bottoms in a microwave kiln. It's a ceramic little They say it's a kiln, but it's actually a little pot with a lid. It's a ceramic pot with a lid. You put your glass in there along with something that keeps it from sticking to the little pot. And you microwave it for 9 minutes or something like that, and it'll melt the glass in the microwave, and it'll become flat after it cools down. Don't take it out when it's hot, because then everything will just be terrible. Anyways, where was I? There are some, yeah, there's exceptions to the kinds of glass that will work, but you'll be searching your whole life for those, and you'll probably never find them. Yeah, but what are they? Don't leave us in the dark like always. You've got to tell us exactly what we're not going to be able to find, because I want to know, or I'll die. Well, say your prayers, because you're going to die. What about TV glass by comparison? I don't like TV glass all that much. It's about the same as bottom glass. Something funny about TV glass, it makes my teeth kind of hurt. Like, you know, when you're on fingernails on a chalkboard, that kind of feeling. I get that feeling with TV glass, but not with bottom glass. Let's see, Tyson says, Jack, can I ask, I have difficult finding good flint nodules. I try to find near rivers, but they are really small and I can't work it good because they are like sandwiched with sand layers. Yeah. Go to the northern end of Denmark. And there's flint at the beach. I know that's probably a 10-hour drive up to Denmark, but just do it. I don't know how long it takes, but northern Denmark beaches have flint. And that's just one place that I know of. Come on. What's going on? Alan Cole says, can we see some thin flakes, Patrick? Why? Why do you want to see thin flakes? Tell me about all the good materials I'll likely never find or wouldn't know if I did. Yeah, tell me everything that I need to know that I'll never get to do. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've heard that before. Okay, I gotta arrange something then. I really envy you guys having obsidian. I love it. Well, you can find obsidian in Greece. How far away are you from Greece? Take a vacation in Greece and look around, because they've got obsidian that you can pick up in Greece. You just have to go to the certain mountains. I think you're closer to Greece than you are to Denmark. Yeah, Greece is better. You'll be able to find obsidian in Greece. You just got to do some research. I don't know the language. I don't know Greek or Italian, so otherwise I could direct you a little bit, but I don't know the languages. Tyson, those chert deposits must come from somewhere. I would look in the mountains. Well, chert not in the mountains. In Europe, the chert is usually on the coastlines of rivers, lakes, and beaches. The mountains containing chert and flint are usually in Eastern Europe, but not in Western. As far as I know, okay? I'm not an expert, but yeah, as far as I know. Hey, Drew's Concrete is here. Okay, so let's see. Let me start getting this thin down. I think you might have said, let's see some thinning flakes, some flakes that'll be able to thin this down. Maybe that's what you meant, Alan? All right, let's see if I can thin this down. The next stage is to get it thin. I kind of set up the edges a little bit for flake removals. This is a regular white-tailed deer antler. I've got to get used to using it on this obsidian first. So I'll be taking little flakes here and there. So that was okay. You gotta be careful though. Just because it works one time doesn't mean it's gonna work all the time. And just because I don't grind it all the time, doesn't mean that it should not be ground down. Here, I can see this is triple flow. Oh dang, I lied. It's not mahogany completely. It's got some clear spots in it. But it's still snap and halfish. Yeah. I got some more of this. It's very snap and halfish, even for triple flow. Yeah. I guess it's triple flow in certain areas, but not all areas. All right, so I haven't hit that sweet spot yet, so I'm getting crushing and stuff. So when I start hitting that sweet spot to know exactly how much to grind and how to hit it, I will start getting non-crushed stuff and non-steppy terminations. But I got to hit that sweet spot. Okay, so I got to work with it and get used to it. Yes. That was okay. A little bit. I scooped a little bit too much, but that was okay. How about that one? How about that? Yeah? Yeah. I cut that one outside. How about that? Yeah. I don't want to hit this one too hard. How about that? Yeah. And in case you don't know, the natural tools will remove a lot of the edge because they're on average, natural tool tips are softer and bigger because they're weaker. Yeah, natural tools are weaker compared to copper and other modern materials. Yeah, but what about hammerstones? You're just full of BS. Yes, I know. But even hammerstones will crumble. Yeah, I'm full of BS. I know that. Thanks, Captain Obvious. But hammerstones will crumble, whereas copper will not. I don't care how hard the hammerstone is. It crumbles. Yes, it does. You might just have little micro crumbles, but it does. It's not perfect. You know what I mean? It wears out. And it also cracks over time. Even knapping obsidian, you'll crack your hammerstones. How do I know? I don't know. So, yeah, this obsidian is kind of crumbly. I've got to get used to removing the flakes in a very smooth way and get dialed into that sweet zone before I am able to get this really thin. Okay. If you think you can get dialed in easily, you are sadly mistaken. It takes some effort, some conscious effort, as well as working with your muscle memory to get dialed into that sweet spot. And it doesn't come automatically. It will after you get dialed in. You'll start to feel a little bit relaxed. Not too relaxed, but a little bit relaxed. And you'll feel like you're in the zone. Yeah. Now, if you never feel that way, I feel sorry for you. Yeah, get a different hobby. If you never feel that way, like, I never get dialed in. I never do. The rock always fights against me and always wins, and I'm in total misery. Yeah, I'm in total misery. Yeah, well, get a different hobby because this is not for you. Okay? I'm just being honest. Why do I say all this right now? Because, you know, occasionally I'll get comments where someone is very, very, not comments, but like emails or communications that people are just very, very frustrated. They're at their wits' end. Yeah. We used to have a saying, I'm a boomer, right? Back in the days, we had a saying that we used to be at our wits' end. Yeah. Nowadays, they just say, bruh. Yeah, bruh means you're getting on my wits' end. Anyways, if that happens to you with Flintknapping, either you've got to deal with it or find something else. Yes, yes. It's getting thinner little by little, but it's not going that well. Okay. And I don't want to overshoot it, so I'm not hitting all that hard. That was a good strike because it did not overshoot. That's what made that strike good. It was a little bit too much. You know that? Yeah. I didn't want it to go that far, believe it or not. All right, let's see. So, am I dialed in yet? No, I'm not. I'm not dialed into that sweet spot. I'm getting close, though. And you've got to, like, if you're switching between different tools a lot, it's difficult to get dialed in. But sometimes you do have to switch the tools because, let's say that I broke this, then I say to myself, maybe I'm using something that's too heavy, or I need to get, I need to start using the indirect percussion instead, or something, right? If you break it, but I haven't broken it yet. This billet feels pretty good, so I'm going to stick with it and see if I can make this nice and thin. I probably will have to switch over to indirect percussion eventually on the final stage, but I'm trying to go as far as I can with the billet. Okay, and I'm not using a hammerstone because it was very smashy. I didn't mention that, did I? I started using this hammerstone, and it was very smashy on the edges. This one seems to be pretty good. Yeah. This billet, although, oh, there it goes. The flakes are sticky. Yeah. When it does that, that means the flakes are sticky. Does that matter? Sometimes, yes. They just, what the material is doing is it's not, the terminations are not clean, so it's giving you a warning that that's what's going to be happening. It's not behaving. So not only do the natural tools not behave, but the rocks will not behave sometimes. So if the flakes are sticky, that means the flakes are not behaving. They're putting up some resistance. And you can get rid of that by being a little more forceful. Just like in real life, isn't that weird? So I normally don't use my hammerstones for braiding, but easy. This is my normal abrading stone. It's a quartzite nodule cracked in half. Yep. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. That might be ground down too much. No, it isn't. Good. I was afraid it might have been ground down too much, and then I would hit it and nothing happens. Yeah, they did. There we go. Yes, we're getting there little by little, I suppose. No? I ground down that edge and it's still all crunchy. I'm using a lot of inward force, okay? I'm getting the same thing I was getting earlier with the hammerstone. It doesn't like the inward force. No. But the mindset changes as you get thinner because all you got is inward force. All you can do is the inward force stuff because you're trying to thin it down, leaving more. In the early stages, you can just trim and use downward force, but in the final stages, you've got to start driving those flakes in on these thin edges. It changes the way that it fractures. Okay. I'm going to stop hitting that end and hit this end and thin this down and see what I got. See, I'm taking a lot off this side. I don't want to continue doing that right now. I'm going to take this lumpy stuff off here. Like that. Yes. Okay. See the difference between this crushy stuff here and that there? This is a lesson. I'm going to see if I can write this down as a short video. Let's see. Do I have my notes? That's already too long, but I'll edit this short video. Hold on. I want this to be a lesson. We don't want no lessons, dude. I don't like your lessons because they're not real. Just making it up. Okay, fine. This is live 155. The time is, let me see. What is the time on this? Uh-oh. What did I do? I messed up the lighting. I don't know where. Okay, 37:03. All right, so this one is going to be the look of flakes. The look of the flakes. Internet culture will say when flakes look different like this, it's because there's a different tool. Okay, the tools have a certain signature. Okay, internet culture will say, see, these are different signatures, but I'm using the same tool with the same angles, with the same edges, with the same everything. Yet I'm getting two different styles of flaking. What does that mean? That means the concept of flake signatures is false. It is false. But someone might say, yeah, but I know that this one was made with Antler, and I know that that one was made with Antler. So there, I know. You only know that because you've seen the video. That's how you know that. You can't tell by looking at that these are both the same tool, same angle, same everything. Okay? Now, the edges are, I'll give you that, the edges are different, but it's the same approach. This is thicker on this side, so maybe if I had a thicker edge on that side, they wouldn't have done that, but who knows? What I can tell you for sure is that both of these were done with the same tool. You just saw it. So there's no such thing as flake signatures, okay? One tool can make many different kinds of flakes, and different tools can make the same kind of flake. Okay. Anyways, we'll get off of that, right? Yeah. Let's see if I can get another good flake. Nice and smooth without crushing it. Let's see. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes I can get into that sweet spot, that zone. No, it's not doing it. I distracted myself too much. That's my excuse. And see, I just crushed it. So that's another type of thing that I can do with the Antler. Yep. It's not the hammerstone that did that. All right, let's see. Oh, a little bit too much because it wasn't doing it. I went a little bit too high up on the platform or on the edge. I got to stop saying the platform. I went too high up on the edge because I was getting impatient. All right. That does work to go higher up on the edge, but then you pay for it. Okay. There, that's okay. Is it sticky? Yeah. I probably could have, instead of scraping that out of there, I probably could have put this back on there and hit it again and then got that to travel a little bit better. Yeah. Oh well. It ended up with a step fracture. It's okay. I mean, I still got meat in that 5-face so I can use, I can run flakes from the other side. I just don't know if I'm going to continue with the billet. The billet. See, I don't do that big old scoop out with the indirect percussion as much as with the Antler billet. Okay, I'm not as accurate with this. I went a little bit too high. I was thinking of, going higher up on the edge, but that was just way too high. Okay. Yes, that one kind of dived in. Dang it. All right, let's stop messing with it. That's not a good sign that it dived in like that. So let me take some off of this first. I don't like to have this big old mess sitting there on the end before I strike the middle. I'm gonna try to get rid of that because I don't know how deep that goes. That could go in there pretty deep. Let's see. Let's try to pop that out first. Same technique I use with copper or metals. It's not popping out of there, so it could be a deep step fracture. We'll see. I'm going to hit it from the sides and see if I can pop it out of there. Did it do it? It kind of did it, yes. It did pop it out of there, which is relieving, yes. It feels a little bit better, but it kind of curved it. I mean, it's starting to install a curve. What? Somebody gave me a super chat and you're voting now? I see some voting. Alan, $2. Thank you. Alan and Jesse vote for elk billet. Why elk billet? Do I have any? This is my only elk billet, and I use it as a indirect percussion mallet. I don't know. Maybe this is. No, I think this is deer. I don't know if I have any elk billets handy. I got some. I don't know where they went. I gotta start labeling these too. This is pretty lightweight, so this might be an elk. Tyson, let's see. The thing Patrick does, not even in my wildest dreams work. I don't think I will ever become this good. I gotta tell you, working and starting with glass learning is painful. Yeah. Hey, Jeremy's here. He says hello. Let me go back and see what I missed. Let's see. Ed Gould is here. Now I got a big hole where that tooth was. What? You're talking about teeth? Ryan says you'll never get a sharp edge by hitting it directly on the edge. What? That's wrong. You hit directly on the edge. Sometimes you will get extremely sharp edges. What are you talking about? You need a leather pad to lay the stone down and press down away. Oh, now you're giving me advice on this stuff? I've told people before that you do what works for you. Now, if you're telling me to do something that you think is going to work no matter what, no matter who you're telling, you have to straighten yourself out because it's not a good way to look at things. Hey, Jesse, $5 super chat. Sandpaper for sharpening the antler. Yeah. Mike says that it's a quarry. I would contact the operations officer for more info. Perhaps they can direct you. I don't know what. I'm talking to someone here. Let's see. Tyson says the superficial stuff is okay to take, but as I said, it's bad. So digging is better, but I need to make sure I'm okay legally or else. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about collecting flint and stuff in Europe. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, there are different laws in Europe than there are here. Alan says, is there gold sheen in this one? I thought I saw some gold sheen in this, but that's a good question. I don't think so. But I mean, if you see it, that means there is, but I don't see it. It seems like there might be. Let's see. Factory glass is nice because abundance. Okay. So we're talking about glass, yeah. Taser Yeet. I could get you some kick-ass flint if you needed it. I have some myself, but send me an email if you want to send me some really good. If you're talking to me, send me an email and we'll talk. My email is on my channel, or let's see, it's jackcrafty2@gmail.com. Jackcrafty, the number 2 @gmail.com. Let's see, but be aware, just be warned, if you do send me stuff, I have a tendency to lose track of it. So you have to remind me or mark up all the pieces really well and send a note along with it, or do both. Yeah, you can bug me and write a note and label every piece. That makes it hard for me to lose track of it. Jesse says, hey guys, I've been in the office training lately. Yeah, so I can cheat and be on my phone. Don't get in trouble there, Mike. I mean, Jesse. Okay, let's see. What I'm doing is I'm looking for questions in the chat for you new guys. People who have been on my chats and my live streams before, they know what I'm doing. Yeah. Let's see. And yeah, I use the live streams what they're supposed to be used for. They're supposed to be used for audience interaction. Yeah. All right, let's see. Yeah, send some flint to Tyson. Ryan says, oh, sorry, I thought you were trying to emulate what's pictured in the book in front of you. I can still make one of those. Yeah, but I'm not trying to emulate this because these are not made of mahogany obsidian. Yeah, this is so people can see that there are actually arrowheads involved in the video, because a lot of people, they stare at the background and analyze backgrounds. So I put this in the background for people who are what I call background jockeys, so that they understand the video better because they analyze the background. So that's just there to show you that I'm involved with arrowheads. What else? What else did I miss? But Tyson, don't think. Okay, who was not Tyson? Who else? Who was giving me advice on how to nap this stuff? Oh, Ryan. I'm not picking on you, Ryan. Okay, I'm just using your comments as an example. I'm not picking on you specifically because you've got good questions and good suggestions. But take my word for it. Most suggestions do not work on me. I've already figured out what works for me. I've been doing this for a very long time, and it's not because I don't want to take the advice. I just don't want to break this on video. Yeah, that would stink. Tyson says, Patrick, can I ask what's the best to start? Is pressure napping bad for beginners? No, pressure flaking is excellent for beginners. Yeah, you can start with pressure and just do pressure for years, and then finally get into doing the heavy percussion stuff. You can do light percussion and pressure for years. That's no problem. Yeah, if you want. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Let me see. Ryan says, gotcha. Okay, cool. I have a tendency to rub people the wrong way, so I'm glad that everything's still cool in the chat. There's nobody giving me any spam messages or posting only numbers in the chat. This is excellent. All right. So I don't want to break this, right? I have to be very careful. If I continue to do these diving flakes, when it gets thin, it ruins the piece. either it breaks it or I'm left with a big old mistake that I can't remove because it's getting too thin. So this is usually the stage where I switch over to indirect percussion because it's more accurate. Okay. I'm trying to think of what I've changed in my setup here that would cause an echo or like I'm in a cave or something. I did clean up, but I still have the same stuff everywhere. The only thing that's more clean is the floor. Yeah. I still have stuff stacked up everywhere. This is not a good, for some reason it's not working very well on this obsidian. That abrading stone or that sandstone, it's actually hammerstone. But I use it sometimes as an abrading stone. Yeah, these two are both sandstone. They feel a little bit different. This one's more crumbly than this one. As you can see, I've used this quite a bit as an abrader, but it's not working on the mahogany very well. This is actually, I can feel it. It's more. There's more friction. When there's more friction, then you know it's actually working. Yeah, this works better. This quartzite on this particular piece. Okay, so now indirect percussion is a different skill. So I got to think about these edges differently now. Okay, I do have this little copper cheater. Yeah, I'm gonna use this copper cheater sometimes if I can't eliminate a bad spot on the edge. Because back in the day, Native Americans did have pieces of copper. They could have used them. Yes, yes. Just look up copper culture if you haven't already. I know that who did one? Was it North 02? Who's doing the copper culture stuff? Is it North or 02? North 02? Is that the name of the channel? Someone tell me who's been doing the copper culture stuff lately. I haven't done very many videos on it because I've talked about it so much I got sick of talking about it. If you don't know about the copper culture by now, then I don't know what to tell you. You're either willfully ignoring it or you haven't expanded your viewership. Yeah. You need to get out more. If my channel is the only thing you're watching, you need to get out more. Yeah. Your channel is the least one I watch, dude. I'm watching it because I'm just sitting here Friday night and I got tired of playing my video games. Yeah. Yeah, you're trying to decompress by watching some foolishness. Yeah, I get it. I do the same thing sometimes. I'll watch something foolish on the YouTubes that I don't have to pay attention to, and it kind of helps me to decompress. Yeah. So see, I can do a lot more accurate strikes. And I'm still trying to figure out why you guys wanted me to do elk billet. Maybe I'll do one on next live stream. Let me know why you wanted me to do the elk billet, Alan. What specific reason? Just because it's obsidian? Or because hardly anybody uses elk? Because it could be that too. Some guys want to see what other options are there. Just because. Let's see. Tyson says, thanks again for the welcome. When I can, I will for sure see you up there on these live streams. Awesome. Are you heading out? Probably trying to go to sleep now. Yep. Veteran says, I have one elk antler on hand and it is very porous on the inside. Yeah, it's not that great for flint napping unless you got some skull attached to the elk antler. But it can still be used as a shed. It just wears out fast. Like I'm not sure if this is, I don't think this is an elk antler, but I have elk with the skull attached. That's the best way to use elk antler, is to get it from a European mount or shoot the elk yourself and cut some of the skull off and have it attached with the antler. A shed antler does work, but it wears out quickly. It's not that great. Sheds are not great. In general, they're not great. Some people say, that's the only thing I've ever used for napping is sheds. I don't know what you're talking about. My dog goes out there and finds them, brings them to me, and I'm a happy camper. Okay, fine. I'm not talking to you. How many times I got to tell you guys? I'm only talking to the ones that it pertains to. Yeah. If it don't pertain to you, don't worry about it. Some people, I don't know, they got mysterious ways. They make the impossible happen. Now, I'm going to take your word for it, even though it's on the internet. See, we can't check. You can just be saying that just to be a contrarian. But I'll take your word for it. Yeah, that you use nothing but sheds. Yeah. And your dog's your helper. Yeah, I'll just take your word for it. That's okay. All right, let's see. It's starting to get dicey. It's starting to get thin. It's at that point where I can snap it anytime. Yes, yes, yes. See? I'm telling you. The edge is getting thin. When it does that, that means it's getting thin. I'm trying to do big flakes on a thin edge. Yes, yes. That's the conundrum. Yeah. That's our vocabulary word for today. You still need big flakes, but your edges are getting thinner, or my edges are getting thinner. So it takes bites out of the edge. So what are you going to do? How are you supposed to do it? You have to find the sweet spot. And if you can't find that sweet spot to get those big flakes, then you're doomed. Yes, yes. That's just the way it goes. You're doomed. And it's going to break or something's going to happen. It's going to look terrible. That's what the risk is. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying that's the risk. Yep. So don't be surprised if you're doing this and you end up removing way too much of the edge. It starts to act up. It starts to misbehave. That's another vocabulary word for today. Misbehaving has certain connotations in flint napping that's only pertain to flint napping. Yeah. Now, it's difficult to do indirect percussion with natural tools because this is very large. This tip is very large and very soft compared to copper. So that means the flakes are going to be larger. The edge contact is going to be more. There's more edge contact, which means you're going to be removing more of the edge than you normally would with copper. It's a different, I don't know how to say this. It's a different experience as far as what you have to deal with and what you're going to have to plan for. I'm dealing with the fact that I'm going to probably mess up the edge a lot because this is such a large soft tool. It's common with natural tools that if you're switching back and forth from copper to natural tools, you've got to make that adjustment. Yeah. How do I know? Because I'm making that adjustment right now. And see how it deposits the antler on the edge when the edge is too strong? And then when you try to hit it harder, you get these big bites. That's the solution for that. You just hit it harder and it will flake. But you know what happens. And even these pressure flakers, the tips have to be big. I didn't say why, right? They have to be big and fat and round because they break. I can't be sending in really long, big flakes with something that delicate on antler where I can with copper. If the copper tip of this size can push big old flakes, but if I try it with the antler will break. And I don't want to break this antler because it took me some time to make this tool. I don't have another one. I reserved this for the tips of the point. Okay, it's for the delicate work. But you can see, compared to copper, let's see. See, the copper is even smaller. And I can generate big flakes with this compared to what I can generate with the antler. Okay? So there's that. Yes? Got it? Good. No? I can take off little flakes with this, but I don't want to. What else can I use so I don't mess that one up? I can use this one. The brow tine on the antlers is the strongest tine. That's a secret. Yeah. See the brow tine? The first tine that comes out on a whitetail, this is the strongest one. You can use that for pressure flaking and it works pretty good. There are other bone and antler parts that are stronger than this, but this is the easiest one to recognize. So I'm going to dress up the edge. This is what I'm getting into right now. The edge has to be a little bit better looking and better prepared for these strikes so I don't get these big bites taken out. Yeah. I got to get that edge just right. Which means there's got to be a little bit of a bevel on the edge. The easiest way to say it is I got to put a slight bevel on the edge. Yeah. In this case, I don't have to always do that, but I can tell on this particular piece, I am going to have to bevel it slightly. Because when on the other edges that were successful, I could tell it was strong in a certain way, and it was kind of like a beveled edge. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, you can hit anywhere along the edge, or you can pressure flake anywhere along the edge. I'm not trying to create platforms. I'm just trying to make the edge stronger. The platforms are on the flakes. They're not on the edge of the piece, of the workpiece. You can hit and pressure flake anywhere along there depending on what you want. That tip is getting thinned down a little bit yet. But that's the easy part. The hard part is getting the middle thinned down without snapping the whole thing in half. And getting everything else nice and thin too. This is a snap in half-ish type of material. Although it does have some triple flow in it, it still feels like that strange plasticky type of mahogany obsidian that you know, you just look at it funny, it'll snap in half. So I put a little bit of a bevel on this, and I'm grinding it hopefully just right for some indirect percussion strikes into that mess. Mess/mass. Yeah, it's a messy mass. I got to get rid of that, and I've got to do it without step fracturing it all to pieces, so to speak. And I can't generate enough power with pressure flaking to guarantee or to make sure or to have a good chance of success with long pressure flakes, because it requires a whole lot of pressure, and I could actually slip and cut myself. I've done that before. So the easiest thing to do is just do percussion on it, and indirect percussion is the most accurate. Yep. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it looks okay. If this is too beat up or cracked or whatever, it does not work well. And if it's too smooth, it does not work well. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Jim Cooper's comment about platforms. I've always defined a platform as a prepared striking area and one that is already present as a natural platform. Yeah, you can define it that way. What I'm doing in my videos to be more consistent is that I don't call any of this a platform unless I forget, because you can hit anywhere along it or pressure flake anywhere along it. The platform is on the flake itself. After you remove a flake, that's where the concept of the platform for me is useful. It's not useful when I'm instructing someone to call something a platform, because then I've seen it many times where they get confused. Okay, well that looks just like that, and this looks just like that, and this looks just like that. So I mean, what is the platform? Is just anything that looks like it, or am I missing something? I mean, is there a subtle difference that makes it a platform? What do I look for actually? What's the difference? And that kind of confusion doesn't help you. Okay? That's why I'm getting away from it. Anyway, let's see. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Yes, a little bit harder that time. I risked it. It's a little bit wide for what I want to do. Yeah. See, the workpiece is a little bit wide. This stuff wants to have a nice convex surface, so it dived in. It's still okay though. It's still okay. I'm gonna try it anyway, even though it's probably too wide to do what I want to do, because it wants a more convex surface than I'm providing for it. But I'm pushing the limits on it, as always. And I'm going to see what happens. And I'm going to take some flakes on the other side and see if I can clear that out. I've already ground it down. I'm going to grind it down a little bit more on this side. I didn't grind this down. For some reason, I had already ground this down, but not this. And I brush it like they do with an artificial abrader. Let me see if I can pop some of that out here. No. Sometimes I can. I could also try some pressure flaking. It's close enough to the edge that the pressure flake might get in there, but I'm just going to continue to use percussion. That felt scary. That felt like it was going to overshoot. I'm always worried about the overshots. Yes, it felt like a lot of flake came off. When that feels like it flaked a lot, yeah, I get worried. All right, so it's step fracturing toward the end of these flakes because it's too wide for what I want to do. I don't have enough convexity. Okay, so it wants a lot of convexity, which means I need to stop trying to thin it while it's this wide. I'll need to make it more narrow. Okay, it is kind of thin, but if I want to get it thinner and not be all steppy, I have to make it more narrow. That's just the way it goes. And yes, you can get lucky and run long flakes that are more flat than I'm doing. But you can't defy the physics. It usually wants something more convex to run nice smooth flakes. Yeah. Let's see, Jesse asked, Patrick, have you ever tried an indirect abo antler with a little notch, with a little notch in it for the edge? I saw a guy fluting like that, but I didn't like it. Not sure if the groove is supported to hold the edge. Yeah, you can put a groove in there and it'll catch the edge and pull off flakes. Yeah, but that's I have used that technique, but it's most useful on thick pieces, like during the initial stages. I got away from using any notches at all on any of my indirect percussion flakers after a while because I can do the initial stages with another tool. I don't need a notched indirect stick. And for fluting, I don't like the notched either, because if it's going to be that strong that it can hold up to that notch, because that notch pulls it like crazy. If it can hold up to that notch, I mean, I can use something else. I can use a billet in that case, and I don't have to keep making sure that that notch is just the right depth, just the right width, and everything all dressed nicely, because a notch is more maintenance. It does work. I'm not saying it doesn't for some people. For me, there's two reasons why it did not work. One, it pulls too much, so I can't use it on everything. Because some stuff, it'll just snap it in half, no problem. I mean, it just, like on this, I can't use a notch tool on this because it'll snap it in half easily. And number two, it requires a lot of maintenance. So yeah, I've seen the guys use the notched indirect percussion tool, but back in the day, most of them were unsupported, where you just hold it just temporarily this way and then put the notch on the edge, and it was not supported in any way except on the ends. And then when you hit, the antler falls away. Or if you have a pad, it would fall into the pad. That's an unsupported indirect percussion flaker. I use support with no notch. After a while, it just became what I do because it's easier on different levels. Okay. Easier for me on at least 2 different levels. And more effective over time. Less failures. And I can work more material. That's different. Yeah. I don't have to work only high-grade strong materials. Okay. So I may have to just switch over to pressure entirely if I'm not going to be able to get those flakes like I want. Let's see. This edge is more convex than the other side. I mean, this side is more convex. Did I say edge? This side's more convex. I should be able to run some more thinning flakes and then quit with the thinning flakes in a little bit. Let's see. Did it do it? No? Yeah, it's going to be sticky. It's going to be sticky. Really hard hit there. Let's see. Okay. I think I'm pushing my luck a little bit too hard. Yes. One more, a couple more. It's getting kind of dicey, but I think I'm in that sweet zone or in that sweet spot. Hold on. Yeah. Should be able to, all those little defects, I should be able to clean that up and make it nice and smooth with some pressure plates. But I want to thin this a little bit more. So I'm going to hit into this area up here from this side. Yeah, because I can't do, I can probably run some pressure flakes in there, long pressure flakes, but it won't do what I want. It won't remove a lot of that thickness. Let's see. I need to put a little bevel on that edge. The obsidian's eating the antler? Dang it. Obsidian was just chewing on that antler. Actually, this is a piece of bone. Too much crunching going on. So I put a little bevel on that. And we're going to try the same thing as we did before. Come on. I'm getting little flakes, but I can do that with pressure. Come on. Yeah, I can get those with pressure flakes. I just don't want to hit it harder than that. Let me see. Hit it really hard. Yeah, it took a bite out. But it thinned it down a little bit. Yeah. Just, I paid the price for it. Yeah. So that's it for the percussion thinning. Yeah, I'm going to do the rest with pressure. Right? Yeah. I don't want to push my luck. It's good enough, right? Yeah. I think so. The edge is all kind of wonky, but it's all right. I can fix it. Yeah. I just got to find that nice, sweet spot on the pressure flaker now. All right. Let's see. I'm going to clean up a little bit. Hold on. All right, so let's analyze this. And then I'll check the chat, and then I'll get into the pressure flaking. Yeah, I've got like 40 minutes left. So it's 38 millimeter by, I don't know, what is that, 6 millimeter? That's 6:1. That's cool. I don't need to go any thinner than that. In fact, a lot of these obsidian ones on the archaeological record are 4:1. Yeah. So they don't break it. How do I know they're 4:1? You don't want to know how many calculations I've made on these things over the years by looking at photographs, side views. Oh, I made some new templates yesterday. I'm going to show you here in a second. I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to go off on a tangent. I'm going to show you some templates I made of the bone projectile points from the Cahokia site. I made templates because I'm going to start making some bone arrowheads. But I was surprised by these bone arrowheads. I was surprised by the size. Okay, I'll show you in a second. Where are they? Where did you go? There you are. Okay. Let's wipe the dust off. One of these days, we'll find a way to nap without all that nasty dust. All right, so I made some templates, some more templates. Where do they go? Yeah, these are the bone arrowhead templates. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are bone. Well, this one's antler. See how small that is? It's small. It's tiny. I did this one on live stream. What was it? Monday? I mean, just as a comparison, look how tiny these are. On the Cahokia site, I'm doing the actual size, templates from real arrowheads. And this is the bone arrowhead. It's so tiny. It's only 1 3/8 inches long. 1 3/8. And then the antler, it's hollowed out at the base on the real one. But that's just barely enough to fit over the tip of a tapered down arrow tip or arrow shaft. And then this little bitty skinny thing, that was an arrow point. Let's look at it with a foreshaft. Okay, hold on. I was amazed. Okay, so I'm going to share my amazement. I don't care. It's even more narrow than, see the tang on this? This is actual size, okay? I measured it. Yes. These are what I use for my arrow foreshafts. This one here is a creosote bush. I think this one is I think this is viburnum. This one here. Anyways, it's even more narrow than my tapered down. Well, probably matched exactly, but the rest of it, that tang on there is so skinny. I mean, that'll snap so easily. This foreshaft is Osage. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would fit, but look how skinny and delicate that is. That'll snap so easily made of bone. I guess that was the point, right? No pun intended. that these are supposed to snap. These, I guess these are warfare points because they're not, I don't see the use in hunting. These are my arrow type foreshafts. And this is the smallest one I've got. I suppose that would work with a very deep notch. But it's going to wobble around in there unless it matches the shaft diameter. But you might say,
No, I see that was for river cane, dude. You can stick it in the end of a river cane.
have you seen the end of river cane for like a 50-pound or 40-pound shaft? It's a lot, the void is a lot bigger than this. I don't have one to show you. I got this that I drilled out. This wobbles around. Yeah, it does fit though. Yeah. So yeah, but damn, I was surprised by how thin these were. You know, how narrow. Anyways, let's get back to what we were doing. Who interrupted me? I interrupted myself, yes. I was just amazed on how small they were, those bone arrowheads. Let's see. Well, I could show you in comparison to an actual regular stone Cahokia. See, this is a regular stone Cahokia point, and this is the bone Cahokia. The bone one is smaller, and I thought it'd be the opposite. Okay, this is a regular Cahokia size, and this is the bone. Okay? Anyways, I thought it was going to be the opposite. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm sufficiently rested up, so now I can transition to the pressure flaking. Yeah. That's not it. I have a pressure flaker I was using the other day. I can go back to using that one. Where's the other one? Oh, this one. Okay, so I got two options. I can use this one or that one. About the same diameter for the tips. I can get a better grip on this one, but this one is longer. I don't know. I'm gonna grind this down. No, it doesn't need to be. Anyways, here we go. So you can see it on that one better. I got two pads, different colors. Anyways. Let's see. Hey, Bart is a new guy, I guess. Just joined us. Let me check the chat. We got new people joining. Let me see. Man, I missed a lot of chat. Holy moly. Let's see here. Talking about cached points. Cahokia points were very small. Saw a dude napping what he called a Cahokia, and it was huge at little dart size. Yeah, you'll see that quite often on the YouTubes. They make everything bigger than they were in the actual archaeological record. Yeah. All right. So Drew's Concrete says, can you make one from a carp gill plate? I see a lot of them. Carp gill plate? You mean as a pressure flaker from a carp gill plate? It has to be a huge carp, because I've seen those. They're not that great. I've tried to use fish bones before, and they're not that great. Let's see. DR Voss Tube, I found it in sub. Yeah. Let's see here. I dug a Cahokia site in the 90s and volunteered at University Dig. Found a whole cache of Cahokia points, says Ralph. That must have been awesome. What are we talking about taking screenshots for? Drew's Concrete, I've been wanting to try and make a couple of bow and arrowheads. Yeah. If you do the actual size of the Cahokia ones, they're very tiny. I was surprised. Let's see. Yeah, Marty has been putting out lots of vids. Marty Wybe. Patrick really wants to use the cheater. Yeah, I want to use the copper cheater. Yeah. I will not. I'll pretend that my wife needs it for an all. Yeah. That's what the archaeologists say it is anyway. I got to follow the archaeologists. All right. Let's see. Convexity lost. The flakes start causing a bite. Yes. Starring Rocky Bodine and Flint Anderson in the breakout role. Yes. Very clever. I see what you did there. Let's see. Scott Lauer, he left already? All right, let's see. Okay, I've heard that people are using alligator gar scales for arrowheads. Yes, Ralph, I've got some. I've actually got a video on an alligator gar scale arrowhead, don't I? I do. Yeah, alligator gar scale for pressure flaking also. You can use alligator gar scales for pressure flaking. Yes, for notching especially. They do work. You just have to haft them very firmly. You can't really use them just like they are by themselves. You have to haft them in something. Hop Along says, hi, Jack. Hello. I've got some alligator gar scales. I just don't want to take more time digging them out. I'm pretty sure I know where they are. They're probably here somewhere. Maybe I can find them in 5 seconds. Let's see. It's not that one. Where is it? I thought it was this one, but this one just has deer antler. I was going to make these into arrowheads, but they're huge compared to the Cahokia one, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But there's other ones that are in the book of Encyclopedia of Bows, Arrows, and Quivers that are bigger. Yeah. So I'll just use that book. I don't know where my alligator gar scales are. Not in 5 seconds. Oh, let's see. Come on. It's funny seeing all the mirrored reflections in the phone. Yeah, people think it's cool though, Daryl. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the people that think they're. I'm laughing at the fact that some people think it looks cool. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do the pressure flaking. Now that everybody's already left. And you're probably going to miss it. Anyways, I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing. One good thing about mahogany obsidian, it's very easy to pressure flake. Yes, yes. It's ridiculously easy to pressure flake. But it's also ridiculously easy to mess it up. I need a better grip on it. Let's do this one. I gotta grind it down though. Why do I have to grind it down? Because the last time I used it, it got eaten for lunch. Yeah. It's getting kind of short. There we go. I gotta be careful I don't cut myself while doing this, because I can easily slip and cut myself. Why don't I use a slotted pad? I tend to not use a slotted pad when I'm doing this natural tool knapping, because I'm using more pressure and I often snap them in that slot. This requires more pressure than when you use copper. More force is necessary. Why am I losing the lighting? For some reason my phone went dark, and that usually indicates that I'm losing battery power, but I got it plugged in, so it should not be losing battery power. Okay. I got a fancy adapter that I can plug in a microphone and the power source at the same time in the same socket on the phone. See, I'm losing light. Is it just me? I gotta adjust my lighting situation. I don't know. Anyways, here we go. I might get the Ishi stick out if I can't drive these flakes long enough. Did it do it? It didn't do it. It went to right there, and that's it. And I took a big bite out, and it still didn't do it. Dang it. Let's try one more time. Okay, that was a little bit better. And you might say that the pad is interfering with the flake travel. It does, yes. But as long as I keep the half of it off the pad, it won't interfere with the flake travel that much. As long as the flakes go halfway or maybe a little bit more, it's good enough. Can you see? Is the lighting good? I don't know. It's probably not that great, the lighting. A little mistake right there. But I just did a pass of flakes down this side here. This was, one of these was the last one. Where's the last one? Right here. So I did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flakes. Not too bad. I had to push really hard though. And I took off a little bit too much there. But it's okay. I'm going to leave it a little bit wonky. Same thing on the other side. No, I was using this one, right? Which one was I using? You made me lose track of what I was using. I think I was using this one. If I start using a different tool, I lose the mojo. Yeah, so I just took off 2 flakes. How about the other side? I gotta run it. I've got to run some flakes on the other side. So before I do that, let me just trim off the delicates with the pressure flaker this time. I can do this with the hammer stone or the abrading stone. I'm going to do it with the pressure flaker first, and then go back with the hammer stone or abrading stone. Yeah. So I just bit off a little bit on the edge, all the way down, so I can run that series of flakes. And as I do this, I get more and more used to the material. And then after I'm used to it, I can tackle this mess. I think I can drive some pressure flakes in there and get rid of that mess. No, it's not going to do it. Sorry, that was a different flaker. Let me put this in. Throw that one in the bin because this is the only one that I need to be using right now. Okay. Yeah, that's better. So I'm tackling the other side of that step fracture by running some flakes. And these are semi-heavy pressure flakes. If I need a really heavy pressure flake, I'll use a little Ishii stick. And believe it or not, Ishii sticks, or the ones that he used, were not very long. The very, very long ones were from another tribe. There are other tribes that use long Ishii sticks. Ishii did not use a long Ishii stick. Yeah. Just so you know. He used a relatively short one. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there you go. Here we go. Let's see if we can do this without making it worse. If it starts getting too flakery, I don't like it. I want to be able to take off just a few flakes. So I took off 3, right? 1, 2, 3. If it would just not be blurry, it would be good. There's a step fracture here. Let's see if I can wipe that out. No, it didn't do it. It almost did it. It minimized it, but it didn't get it completely. Let's see if I can just plow right through it. Yes. We're going to try to plow right through it now that it's minimized. Let's see if I can do it. Ooh, almost. I got through that side. Let's see. Can I push on the face of that step fracture? I tried pushing on the face of it with this. Probably should use a skinnier one. Too late now. Yeah, let's try again to try to just plow through that with a brute force attack. If it doesn't work, I just have to go more narrow. Oh well. Dang it. I've already used up all my edge. I'll have to come back to it in a little bit. I used up all the edge already. See that? I already used up all the edge. See how high it is? I'm just going to continue down the edge a little bit more and continue to thinning elsewhere. Yeah, like that. Oops, I scooped out too much. Yes, I did. All right, so I'm just going to go back and forth. And I'm going to put a different set of glasses on. Higher magnification to do this tip. Yeah. Dang. Even with a smaller tip, it's very easy to nap this mahogany obsidian. That's why. That's my excuse. I always have an excuse, just in case. All right, let's see if I can thin this down without crushing the edges. Let me just finish beveling a little bit. Yes, okay. It's the same procedure, same technique as modern napping. Funny how that works, huh? It's almost like modern napping copies the natural tool napping, huh? At least the way that I do it. Right? Right. Where's my tool? Let's see if this will do it. Yikes. Sometimes it removes a lot and it gets too scooped out, but I think that worked. You can see little dull spots here and there, but I'll take care of those later. All right, so I'm going to tackle this mess right there. Everything else looks pretty smooth for the most part. There's a little booger right here. Step pressure right there. That's right. I'm going to zone out because I got to be careful with this side. There's no room for mistakes because it's too thin already. As it gets thinner, your options decrease. My options decrease, your options decrease. All the options decrease as it gets thinner. The number of options diminishes fast. Yeah, that one's not going to work. There's a little booger right here, but I'm not going to be able to get it. See that? That was a good one. Good pressure flake right there. It's too bad it stepped. Right? That was, yeah. I don't know if that was from this pressure flake or earlier. If I modify this edge, I might be able to run a, no. I was thinking of maybe a percussion flake into that area, but it's not going to work. No. We'll just have to see. After I run this pass of flakes. So I have to see what's up. I need to get rid of that just because it bugs me, right? I mean, it doesn't take away from the function of the point. It's just, it doesn't look that great. Yeah, sometimes the step fractures and the mistakes, reduce the function of the point. But these small ones they don't really matter too much. It just doesn't look good. I'm going to go around and check different areas on here and see what needs to be done to make it look a little smoother and a little better. I'll be going back and forth at random as far as sides. I'll be going from side to side at random. I might not be explaining it. Sometimes when I explain it, it doesn't work right. You can't do both at the same time. I think I might have a chance to run a percussion flake in there. Yeah. So let's see. I think I might do it. Take the chance. I don't know. It could mess up the symmetry, but I think this is bulging out enough that I can take a flake out without ruining it. I might use the copper though, because it's a little risky with an antler. It could break the whole thing because I gotta hit it pretty hard to make sure that I plow through all that. Let me see. Let's just see how it looks. Where did it go? No. Like, I have to use the same mallet every time. I got something else I can use, but I start switching out now. It's not going to work. So, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Good enough? Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, I don't want to get too greedy. Okay. Let's use the Ishi stick to do some of this thinning up here. I might be able to get that little divot out right there. It's still kind of bulky on this side, so I can run a flake into there. I use the big Ishi stick. I don't know. Yes. No. It's not that great. Yeah, okay. We're just going to do it anyways. The approach to that obstacle is not that great. Yeah. And it crunched too soon. I crunched it. Switched the tool on myself too. I'm going to try one more time. Let's see. Maybe run a pass down the whole thing. Put away that abrader too. That abrader doesn't work as well as this one. Is it safe to do a pass all the way down? I can do a pass all the way down. So the flake stopped right at that little divot. Well, it's not a divot, it's like a little bump. Anyways, I need to finish this up. It's almost 10. And I haven't done the notches yet. I want to get out the cheater. Yes. Yeah, I still don't think I can generate enough force. No. Not without making it more narrow, I can't do it. So, let's see. Can I make it more narrow and get away with it? Does it mess up the symmetry? No? If it does not mess up the symmetry, I'm going to go for it again. Do they take this much time on the real ones? Maybe on the ones that were very, very delicately made. Maybe. It's kind of a waste of time if you're making a bunch of these. They don't need to be perfect. You know what I mean? If you're making a set of 5 at little darts, who cares if they're all perfect or not? You don't even know, basically, when you take these out of the quiver, which one is my perfect arrowhead.
I want to use the perfect arrowhead when I shoot the perfect elk. So let's go looking through the arrows. Oh, dang, the elk left. Dang it.
You know, they weren't doing that kind of stuff. No, not like that. Let's see. Haha. I don't see it anymore. Yeah, I don't see it anymore. I got it. Cool. Where is it? I want to see. Where did it go? It's right there. Ha ha ha. I gotcha. See you later. Haha. Okay, that's it for the aesthetics. Now just sharpening. Yeah, that's it for the surface. I'm not going to do anything more on the surface. Now let's see what we can do for the overall point in the far west. Let's look for some cool stuff. These are mostly obsidians. Okay. How about that? Yeah. No, I do too many elcos. Who said that? Who said I do too many elcos? How about a Vandenberg? Well, that's easy. Yeah, let's do that. People won't like me. No, they don't like me no more. Oh yeah, the exotic double tip. I'm gonna do one of these on video, but not today. That's it. Let me look at the chat because I know someone's gonna say something. Let's see. Okay. You guys are talking about something else, so I don't know. What about a night fire? What is that? I never heard of that one. What is a night fire? See? Night fire? Let's see if there's some cool looking night fires in there. Or a northern side notch. Yeah, I always do those. This is the night fire. Oh yeah. Easy peasy. No? Oh, this has got parallel flaking. Yeah, these are too fancy for me. So now what? It's already past 10, so I might as well just go for it. I'm just going to stay until I finish. Yep, I'm just gonna stay until I finish it. I got nothing better to do. I'm an old retired guy. I can stay up as late as I want. I can even drink coffee when I wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, that reminds me. There's very few guarantees in life, except spilling coffee all over your stuff, like I did just before I started this video. I was in a hurry to get out of the house and I spilled coffee all over my stuff. I have a desk, well, it's actually a table with all my art stuff that I'm getting ready to do more artwork. So I got all my fancy pieces of paper set out on the table, and I spilled my coffee all over my fancy pieces of paper. There's hardly any guarantees in life unless you talk about spilling coffee. And I'm drinking coffee late at night. I found some low acid coffee that doesn't make me feel sick. This is too teardrop shaped for these. Well, that would be cool. Someone said, nice preform. Thank you, thank you. How about doing one of these contracting stems? No. Yeah, I could, but nah. One of these? A bifurcate? Gate cliff split stem? Except I'd make it a little bit more fancy with barbs. Yeah, let's do that. I'll make it look like a pedernales. But I'll call it a Clifton. No, gate cliff. I'll call it a gate cliff split stem. Now,
Yeah, but dude, it's gonna be a pedernales because you do everything Texas-like. It's gonna look like a Texas hybrid type. Yes.
oh well. I don't care. No, that's my motto. Do these have drooping barbs? They don't have drooping barbs. Dang. This is my notcher. Although it's getting kind of short, I need to make another one. Once my knuckle starts getting too close to the workpiece when I'm doing this, I gotta make another one. I tried making one that I can interchange these pieces, but it doesn't stay stiff. There's always some kind of wiggle room in there. And it has to be stiff. Did I take off that barb? Yes, I did. All right. A little more careful. All right, let's see if I can do that pop out without breaking everything. Hold on. What can I use it? What can I use to abrade that? I had a flake. I had a rhyolite flake. Where'd it go? I can abrade the inside of that notch with a rhyolite flake, but I don't have it. Or a basalt flake. Either one. There it goes. I got the pop out anyway. See that? Pop out. 87. It was like 116 a few seconds ago. I guess they left when I started looking for something. I'm curious to see how many people actually watch the notching, because there's a lot of people that have trouble with it. But it seems like the ones that have trouble with it don't watch these live streams. I don't need to drive these too far. Okay, now other side. But dude, you should do that narrow notches, because the narrow notches are the most awesomest. They're the most awesome and tremendousest. Yes, I know that. I know. But this is a video. I can do the awesomest and tremendousest off camera, where I like to do them. Yeah. trying to do them on camera with narrow notches with primitive tools, it's a royal pain. And many people don't like to see the royal pain. They know it's hard, but they don't want to see it being done with effort and suffering. They want to see it, the hard thing done easily. Yeah. How do I know? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows how I know that? Come on, you can pop out of there. There it goes. Yep, just like that. How am I doing that? With lots of force and making sure this is not too eaten up. In the notching and all that really takes its toll on the flaker. This abrading with the notching tool and then actually pushing out those pop outs. You can't eat this antler for lunch. Do I need to go any further with the notching? Not really. Yeah, okay. I might need to narrow that stem down a little bit. Let's see. Chris says I'm in New Mexico for family vacation. Should I rock hound up here? No, New Mexico doesn't have any rocks. Not to speak of. Unless you're in on the border with Texas. And even there, they're going to be just little cobbles. If you can find them on the surface. If you're lucky, you might be able to find some cobbles on the surface. But New Mexico is, as you probably already know, it's pretty dry. It's not a good spot for rocks, for rock hounding. Now, you can look in parking lots at the landscaping gravels, especially Walmarts and other big chain stores. They might have landscaping that has flint. If that's the case, you might want to check out the landscaping supply yards in that area. Yeah, you got to get their flint from somewhere. Probably a local landscape supply yard. I would recommend that instead of trying to go out into the countryside or pull over on the side of the road and look. You'll get mixed results by looking at on the side of the road. Besides, sometimes you'll block traffic, or a state trooper will investigate, see if you're in trouble, as far as, maybe you got a flat tire or your engine died. And then you got to get into the conversation with the officer like, no, the engine's not dead. I just pulled over because I saw some rocks. Yeah, I know, it sounds kind of dumb. Yeah, I know it's a safety hazard. Thanks, officer. See you later. You don't want that conversation. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't care. How do I know that people have those kind of conversations? I don't know. Yeah, just good. Just like that. Yes. So I'm just going to dull the edges a little bit and round them off like they are on the book. See, the outsides of these little ears are rounded off. Imagine that. Looks like they did that so they wouldn't snap off in the hat. Yeah. And then they sharpened up the sides and constricted the sides a little bit. Yeah. So let's sharpen up the sides. Or at least pick off those dull spots. See, there's a slight constriction in the sides in the pictures, especially like with that one. See, they're constricted on the sides. It's a very common feature with Native American projectile points is to put that little constriction in on the sides. Yeah. And my theory is sometimes they actually lashed, if they're constricted a lot, they actually put the lashings up on the sides that high in some cases. But that's just my interpretation of why they would do it. Sometimes. Sometimes, not all the times, they would lash up on the sides of the blade. How do I know when it was or was not lashed up on the sides of the blade? Usually when it's dull right here, like on artifacts, if it's dull here, they may have actually put lashings up on the blade a little bit to hold it in place. Otherwise, why would it be dull right here? There's no good reason for it to be dull right there unless you're lashing it that high. Unless they just don't care about the sharpness down here. I don't know. Maybe. Almost dropped it. And yeah, I'm going to thin this down a little bit. Take advantage of the constriction to beef up the edge so I can thin it a little bit more right there. And I could probably take another percussion flake and smooth that out. I have enough meat, but I'm not going to. Maybe they put a constriction on the side here so they can run more flakes. I don't know, maybe. We don't know. We don't know for sure. But it looks cool, I think. I'm crushing it, and not in a good way. I'm trying to sharpen and thin at the same time. Yeah. It's hard to do it if you end up crushing the edges. So sharpening just means I'm trying to create a little bulb of pressure near the edge so that it thins down the edge and sharpens it at the same time. It produces a slight hollow ground effect when there's a bulb of pressure right near the edge. But I can end up crushing it too, because I'm not abrading it beforehand, hoping that it'll still do it. Because the more you abrade it, the more you've got to sharpen, and keep sharpening and sharpening. Abrading and then sharpening more, abrading and sharpening more. It's a vicious cycle, so I'm trying not to abrade too much. I can abrade with the tool tip. Yes. And I can do this. Scratch back. For me, that doesn't work all that well, but I'll try it. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay. It takes too much of a bite. All right, so we'll just leave it. What time is it? Let's finish this up. I'm messing with the edge too much. These have nice needle tips. The ones in the book, let's see. Yeah, they have, like this one here is narrow and it's got a very sharp tip. This one does too. But these don't. This one does not. Well, let's do something in the middle. Lost my place. Oh well, I lost my place. Let's just finish this up without looking at the book. Yeah, this tip is too wide. It's too wide to be working on this up here. I crushed the edge badly right here. Right there. So what I'm doing is, I'm not only sharpening it, but I'm trying to make it a little bit more narrow to match the picture. Unfortunately, I lost my place in the book. That's okay. The edge is not as sharp as I want it to be. So I'm kind of struggling with the edge a little bit. All right, so let's just finish shaping. Simple enough. Yep. Good enough. Yeah. You could do a lot with obsidian. I just left it kind of simple. Yeah. Like I can do a lot more with these notches. They're not stalled at all. So I could go deeper with the notches. I'm not trying to show off, I'm just saying. But the actual artifact didn't have deeper notches. They played it safe on this particular type. Right? Right. But I'm still going to make them more pointy anyway. Oops. That's what I get. Trying to make it more pointy on that side and broke it a little bit. So yeah, when I reduced the width here, it thickened it up as far as the ratio goes. But it's fine. I think that it's safer to have these obsidian ones on the thicker side if you're going to use them. Yeah, where's my box of foreshafts? What the heck did I do with the whole box of foreshafts? Too much. Yes. Not too bad. Yeah, I like it. Could use a bigger one. Yeah, like that. A little bit wider. Hold it a little bit further up on the blade. Yeah, like that. I do like that one better. It doesn't reach the bottom, but I like where it is at the top here. Yeah. Okay. Where are we on the chat? Okay, people are saying good night, or people are saying good night already. So yeah, good night, guys. See you next time. My next live stream is on Monday. Patrick, thanks for another great video. Gotta hit the sack. Alrighty, I gotta hit the sack as well. Jared says good night. Ralph says good night. Ellen says a smoker. Thank you, thank you. Let's see if I can keep it in view. Everyone's saying good night. Good night, good night. I'm looking for questions just to see if there's any questions left so I can answer. Yeah. Mike Mason says nobody looks at a book to carve a wooden cup anyways. Yeah. Marty says, all right, guys, I'm going to hit the rack. Hands are sore, so I'm going to try the cider method. Let's see, what is the cider method? Bifurcated base. Yes, yes. Texas Red Book is a good guide. Yep. Chris, anyone have any books they would recommend for knapping? I have the books. He's looking at 13th edition. Yeah, someone already mentioned Noel D. Justice. You can also get this book. Or one of the best sites you can go to is projectilepoints.net. Projectilepoints.net. And you can also look at Lithics Casting Lab. Those sites have side views. You need side views. Let me see. Chris asks, are you able to tell when a piece is Avo or modern? Sometimes, yes, but usually, no, it's difficult. Especially when they're trying to use the natural tools or the Avo tools to make it look modern so they can sell it. Then it's hard to tell. It's kind of cheating to tell by what type of point they want to make. You know, let's say that they want to reproduce a point of a certain style. You can kind of tell that they use natural tools sometimes. But no, it's difficult to tell between the two. Now, some people will say that the differences are glaringly obvious. When they say stuff like that, it's not true. It is not true at all. You can make the same kinds of flakes with all different kinds of methods and tools. It's very difficult to tell. And that's why not a lot, but many people confuse modern day points with the old points these days, because knappers are getting really good these days. So they can make something that looks old, but they can use modern tools to do it and produce fakes, because it's a lot faster and easier to produce a fake with modern tools than it is with the ancient tools. Now, some people are not very honest, and they will try to make fakes with the natural tools. Yeah, stay away from those people. Keep track of who they are, but stay away. Yeah, David says, that's quite a nice hobby trade you do. I don't believe I'd have the patience, and my OCD would be frustrated. I like that sub. Yeah. Sometimes OCD can be an advantage with knapping, though. But yeah, sometimes it does drive you insane. How do I know? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see here. I guess that's it for questions, huh? Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you liked the point. And I'm glad I didn't snap it in half. Yeah. That's the best part, I think. It didn't snap. And I managed to keep it nice and tapered without scooping out a big area. Yeah. I can see where I would thin it down some more, but I'm not going to touch it. Yeah, when I reduce the size here, I try to use the pressure flaking to thin it down some more a little bit. But it really needs a few more of those percussion flakes to thin it down. After trimming the sides, it looks like it gets rounder and more convex, which it does. And if you don't like that look, you'll need to take some more flakes. There's no transparent spots in it, although I did see some near the base. Yeah, so it's almost like a triple flow. Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Next live stream is Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, if I'm on time. Yeah. All right, you're welcome, guys. Good to see everybody. Yeah, making points out of the wrong materials can be a red flag, yes, for fakes. That's the easiest way to get around that, too. Just make the point out of something that the original was not made of, and no one can confuse it for a fake. Yeah. All right. We'll see you later. Andy Wells says, where can I buy obsidian? Gosh. There's some guys in the chat that sell obsidian stuff. You can go to Danny Collins' website. I think he has obsidian. Danny Collins. Flintknappingtraditions.com. And there's other guys that sell obsidian. It's one of the easiest things you can buy. You just do a search on either Etsy or Facebook. You'll find it all over the place. All right, we'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.